drug when you're a analyst and you just get a call right like that? Huh? Just
it's an instant high.
Yeah, you know you are the smartest guy in the room. So walk me through this draft. We'll start off with Germany here, F6. What are they looking to do? Obviously, we know circles. Anything else? What is this draft built to do?
Yeah, it's a big team fight kind of draft, right? They're looking to be together. A lot of it is about 4v5 or 5v5, and they're looking to kind of compound using the Coliseum, using the Gideon, keep them locked there so the black hole can hit everybody or force them to use resources like the blink to get out of the way. That way, the rest of the team could chase them down like the Kira, the Grux, and the Adele at any moment. So it's a really good kind of emphasis on their end, very simple to play. And what I really like about the Adele is she can bring down the Wukong with her ultimate if he's in the air close on by.
Flip side, then tell me a little bit about how this Italian roster is looking to play itself out.
Oh, they're going to run at you. I mean, they still have a team fight capability, but the Wukong is really the issue here, right? He's a little bit squirrely, a lot of mobility on that character, so he's going to cause a lot of commotion in the background. So that is the one thing I should keep interested on side of Team Italy.
Circles versus lines, and those lines are coming straight towards you, just like we are going straight over to the caster desk to check in with this game. Number one for Philly and Ritter.
Forza Azzurri tutti! I'm so hyped for this. Let's go, the boys in blue. I've got my Italian shirt on, and I'm with my good buddy Ritterific, and this will be a terrific matchup in our semifinal.
Yeah, it's just see how this matchup goes here. Draft went really well, like we said. Me and you backstage talk about the P's and B's. A lot of things we wanted to see there. I really wanted to see the Renan pick come out, but we saw the Howie fly out there early. Kind of was a weird matchup there. No, drafts, I would say, usually like to say I really favor someone kind of more of a little bit of an even split here. Got to see how it kind of plays out. It's more about who's piloting these heroes than who's actually in the lineup here. I don't think there was really a definite winner, in my opinion, in this draft, Philly.
Yeah, it's very even, so it's really about the individual skills as we make our way to the Sanctuary. And you were talking to me, Rit, about how you love this mid lane matchup in terms of Meyer and Dark Dodo. And Dark Dodo's really made a name for themselves throughout this tournament, has risen through the ranks, gotten a lot of stock on their side. But the Gideon Howitzer matchup, that's one we see time and time again.
Yeah, you have to take the Gideon Howitzer matchup, right? You would love to see the Renna. Renna's had a very dominant performance, has had a high success rate into the tournament, but she just doesn't really play well into the Howitzer early on. But this matchup in particular, I love it because we've seen Meyer piloting that Howitzer for the most part. Now we're seeing the flip of the script, right? So he knows the Renna doesn't play well into it, and he says, you know what, I've played the Howitzer a lot. You know what I think plays well into it? It is the Gideon. So I started to see some rocks come out. The big thing is he doesn't have a high damage score early, so in the beginning part, still goes a little bit more favored to the Howitzer, but once that scaling comes online there for that Gideon, gets a little bit of that mana pool built up, the damage numbers tended to go a little bit more into his favor, and then the name of the game is circles here for the side of this German team, and they've got a lot of it. In fact, every ultimate they have provides some kind of circular damage, so that's what we need to watch our eyes for in these big team fights, Philly.
But who are they locking down? I mean, this Wukong is so shifty, right? Can jump out of all these circles, can scoot away on the clouds, and then the Terra becomes undominable and just runs through everybody. So it's going to be curious how these different team comps interact with one another. We're going to see a ton of skill expression. And we were highlighting Conte just a tad when we were talking in the green room, like he loves to play these assassin characters. So as soon as we saw the Wukong, we're like, oh, we know it's going for the captain. Absolutely. Let's talk about this offlane matchup for just a touch. I mean, the Grux versus the Terra, I feel like the Terra's got this.
I do believe the Terra has. Durali's had a fantastic performance we've seen in the earlier portions of this tournament, but I've liked what Lugia's done. He's played very strong. These champions played very good at countering out. We see a strong posture into lane as the earlier start of the setup. And as the health bars are starting to starts a small tail of the tape here as the pool comes out, a slight miss here and a dash. Would have loved to save that. Had it already charged up either way, so the pool came out. He wouldn't have got pulled into the CC, but Terra, strong performance in this lane. I believe in the earlier portion, get a small gank over to this lane should be a strong setup to get her rolling and keep a strong favor into your team's hands if you're on the side of this Italian team.
Ven is hovering on that blue side, and with Lugia so pushed up, there might be an attempt on a gank, but we'll see. He'll go to his 3 camp first and then make a decision. Yeah, he will rotate over there as we turn our eyes back to the mid lane. Dark Dodo under pressure from this Gideon, winning some early trades. The dual lane is one we haven't talked about just yet, and I know you want to highlight these guys, especially our man Two Hands looking to get the work done.
It's such an awesome show. It's theatrical performance to see what Two Hands does on this in these carries. Love to see what he does, particularly into this Kira. I had said before, when I got the opportunity to cast him last weekend, I got the opportunity to watch the practice before the tournament to see him dashing through that practice steal. But this steal, not the practice one, coming in and lays down the shield smash, going to have to force out the blink there as well and cost him his life, put him on the board. In the words of my man Lance, this one goes over to Capo. First blood onto this Titan team.
Quick rotation from the Wukong, and that is exactly what you love to see from Conte, but it was off the back of Ryuza with a bull rush in to lock him down, and Capo, the Cappy, the leader, to finish him off. So great early trade there. The Kira a touch vulnerable in this early game, and we were curious about this Adele pick. I mean, she was kind of nerfed in this last patch in terms of the support role, and wow, with a massive wave crashing in, a lot of work to do.
And as you mentioned, the massive wave catch in, that's something I definitely want to magnify onto. As we mentioned, Kira, not known for her ability to push lane sound really hard, and Adele, not being a range support, kind of not going to give her a super hard push in there as well, especially playing into the steal on the Murdoch. So I'd expect to see the side of this Titan team essentially just shove this dual lane as hard as they can. They will have to be a little bit cautious, though, as you said. The Zara's lurking nearby. All you need to do is get caught in one Coliseum and have some of those blinks expended. It spells nothing but danger for your team. But as we shift our way back to this mid lane matchup, I talked about before they got their backs right there in that last fight, how the damage score output really wasn't strong once they get in early. But Byron making me a man of eating my words today instead of my meals. Philly lays out a lot of damage that first encounter. Both those teams make it out there. And that was the tail of tape yesterday in a lot of the series as well. These mid laners get these engagements, and especially early and often in this games, we saw they were able to fight. They had exchanges, both of them be down to one hit, and someone always found a way to make it out. So far, it seems to be the tape in this one as well.
Again, can they find a way out as Ven is now hunting the Gladiator, looking for some spear fishing, but no Coliseum available just yet, so the Terra will survive. They'll be pressuring that off lane greatly, but that means Conte can rotate to this left side. They want to play for Fang because they'll have priority in that lane against the Kira, and so they're looking for the Prime, or the Fang Tooth now, but the Seedling might be on the board first, and that would be both the way of the Wukong.
Yeah, Wukong making his way over. Great play here by Conte. Not going to do anything to get himself behind. Knows his pacing, knows what he's capable of doing on the Wukong, and should be looking to be a disturbance early on, and no better way to disturb anyone than the opposing jungler when you're taking out those neutral objectives you can, as he shifts his way directly over towards this Fangtooth as well. Probably not going to start here. Going to jump over, cause a little bit of disturbance in that dual lane after he takes his 3 camp. Maybe find a way to push Two Hands and Shin back here. And as we look at that dual lane, I want to focus on one thing too as well, is Shin, the Dolphins team piloting onto that steal, but now we're seeing the shift up. Not going to have the steal this time, as you mentioned. The Adele is there, and as much as the Adele offers, we cannot shy away from all the things, all the CC that is offered over from Steel as well.
But I love the theory, right? Because if you get the Queens guarded into a Coliseum and people get scattered, then they're taking all that damage from the roses. It just makes a lot of sense. Or the black hole absorbing people and vacuuming them in. They have to move and thus take damage. So I like what they're doing as they go for the engage now in Shin. Capital Cappy under a lot of pressure. He's able to hop, skip, and jump, but not survive. A full-on beat down in the dual lane. The Purge popped here for Two Hands to put Ryuza back to his tower. The Purge also expended on him. He will survive, but his carry will not.
He will not, but the extraction what was needed is what was needed there. Conte is going to have to use his blink there to get out of the Coliseum from Ben, but more importantly, got himself that Fangtooth, first one off the board. Neutral objective falls into the hands of Italy here in 12 seconds. So we'll be having that mini prime spawn as well. And with the forced back here momentarily from Kevin, never mind, Ben going to stay in this action here, going to secure the kill on the Conte. And if you needed a green light to say, hey, the jungler is down and we need to go get mini prime, that is it. Your jungler securing kill, the opposing team's jungler. Probably spells way for you to go back, but make me eat my words here. They're going to get this red buff maybe on their way out, going to push Ryuza back behind his team's tier 2 tower. Get a little bit of that red jungle. I'm not going to get to play straight towards that primal as I tried to instruct us toward a minute ago. As we see some pressure come out from Kape here onto Two Hands. He needs to get his exchanges into the Kira in the early portion of this game. If he's going to win his 1v1s, this is the time to do it. Because when that Kira comes online later, Philly, it streams nothing but damage onto this Murdoch.
It's a little bit spooky for sure. Giroli not often go for that mini prime, as you mentioned, because he had a wave to manage, right? Like a good manager from a McDonald's or whatever had to will his minions towards the tower before he could rotate. That will allow Ven to go back clear up his blue side and maybe get a buy. I mean, got a couple of kills in there, stole the red side jungle, put Conte behind just a touch. He's only level 6 to his level 7. All things considered, I mean, this is a fairly even match. We expected this in the semifinals.
This is exactly what we expected. We talked about the things in the backstage before we got here in the green room. You talked about how there was so much focus towards the off lane and what those off laners are doing. And then we've seen a pretty strong focus, number 2, behind that to the junglers. But me and you wanted to shift the focus a little bit somewhere else. We're going to talk about these mid lane matchups, these duo matchups. And I think the focal point in this and where we really need to keep our eyes is that duo lane. As we mentioned, how is Capo going to play into 2 hands? And with Shin doing this, so the switch up over from the steal into the Adele. Are we going to see the expensive though? We've seen her utilized and picked up as we see the black hole come out. Going to root down. Is Dodo going to get caught by the spear near? But it's the damage from the black hole that takes him out. Meyer going to secure the kill. Instead he complained how it's he did. Ryuza coming out with the ult here as well. I don't know if he's going to be able to escape 2 hands. Purge comes out not to kill him, but Capo going to be the victim instead. He's going to get out as well. He makes even worse, but can he land down the long arm with all 2 hands? Dodges it there. Gets shifty, pulls his best Barry Sanders impression out with a little juke move there. Not going to secure the kill, Philly.
But he might die as the rotation comes through, and Meyer is on a kill streak, just eliminating people left and right. Turned Dodo into a shish kebab and turned the Murdoch into a pile of ash. It is all Germany A dominance from Deutschland early on in this.
A nice play from Meyer. I wanted to keep that focus point onto those 2 lanes, and he said, you know what, don't put the spotlight onto the dual lane. Keep it here in the mid, Red. I'm the one you need to keep your eyes on. I'm looking for my chance to be my team's MVP.
Conte, he's taking a 2v1, maybe ill-advised for the captain. He's got some escapability, but not enough. Hunted down and put 6 feet under Ben. This guy gets his opposite number.
Nice play there from the jungler here on the side of this this German roster. Italy back up against the walls here. I said that I thought they did a little bit more. I mean, you were talking as a potential favorite here, but Germany playing very well. Got to represent my native land a little bit here as well. So hats off to the German team. Off to a good pace here, a good start. They didn't get the neutral objective, but if you were a man who likes to vote on the KDAs, we see another kill coming in here from Meyer, the solo bolo onto the mid lane. He said, you can pilot the howitzer, but you cannot pilot as good as I, and I know how to counter it here on the Gideon in the mid lane.
And this is certainly worrisome because Germany A has the better scaling comp with the Zars, with the Kira, with the Gideon, right? They want to stack items and get more powerful, where you feel like Italy, they have a certain timer that they need to hit. They want this like pick style burst composition, but if the other team gets too ahead, too many levels, too many items, they'll fall flat in terms of their damage output. So this is certainly concerning, which also is peculiar. The mini prime has not been taken off the board just yet.
I love that we're going to go back to the economical numbers here, and you wanted to talk the values and numbers as far as levels as well. Slight gold lead probably here, sitting a little bit due to the kills, even with the neutral objective going to Italy. So slight gold lead to Germany here, but what I wanted to focus is until we saw that level up there for Contain to level 8, there was a minor 2-level advantage there for Vin on the Zaris. So as we thought that the monkey would be a little bit more disturbing, keeping pressure on the lanes, as we see Dodo once again getting a solo boho from Meyer here. There is absolutely no competition, and I'd imagine at this point Dodo maybe yelling for that captain of his, saying, Conte, I need some relief. The pressure is getting to too much, and the Raptor is captain, I'm bleeding out. As we now see Vin moving his way over to this Fangtooth, going to get the first one for his team. Germany said, you guys got the first neutral objective, and now we're going to take this one, put this Fangtooth in our pocket. No out-of-combat movement speed for you. We win our chance at extending our jungle buffs as well.
Dark Dodo, I was highlighting you, buddy. I put you in the hot seat. You let me down just a touch. 3 levels behind in the mid lane and 3 levels up on Conte. There's not much he can do. Just going to hold it down to freeze the wave and make sure it doesn't get pushed in too far. But yeah, they desperately need help in this mid lane. Just being bursted into oblivion is the monkey. So this is challenging. And now on the other side of the map, this is what again? Ben drops the Coliseum and drops the Murdoch. Capital Cappy, decapitated. Ryuza can only stand by and watch again.
And things are getting a little bit messy here, a little bit chaotic was the thematic word for yesterday. It's Ryuza going to back himself up, but not tanky enough. The damage coming out from Germany here is exponential. There is putting these exclamation points on these fights, and I'm not just talking about the spears in here and Coliseums coming out. What Meyer's doing here has no there's no lack of light to be shined onto it. A lot of damage here come out from mid laner. As you mentioned, a 3-level gap now trimmed down slightly here to 2 is pretty massive, Philly. And if there's one person you don't want putting out ample damage in your team fight, it's that rotating Gideon. A little bit faster in pace and getting to the other lanes than the Howitzer is going to be here, as we see this jungle buff, this mini prime being handed over to Girale, who's had a strong performance right now. Already has the solo lane tower, the off lane tower, excuse me, down to about halfway. Didn't really get, I think, one set of plates off that, so slight advantage, but now get a chance for you to say, hey, we have pressure really strong in the mid lane. Our jungler's excelling really well. Dual lane, not hanging in there too bad. Mid lane we thought was a push, but with that mini prime buff in your hand, should be able to force that lane through finally, push that Terra back up against the wall, probably be able to secure that T1 tower as well, so open up that map, get some room for that Grux to rotate over, start causing some havoc across the entirety of the screen.
Germany A, we talked about how they need to have technical skill in the game, but also their macro ability has been sublime thus far. Their rotations clean, bringing numbers where they need to in perfect synchronization to the timers for these neutral objectives. I mean, Italy just constantly on the back foot here. I'm vying for a way forward for them, and I can't spot it, but maybe this switch, putting the carry into the mid lane, might be it, as Conte now converges on the Cosmic Wizard once again, but the black hole opened up and ripping through. Everybody runs and scatters only to find the spear into the back of the head, and that will be the carry down. But on the flip side, 2 hands doing it to the Howitzer. There's just blood spilled everywhere by the Italians.
This is free player, a lot of aggression coming out of this German team, pushing behind the T1 tower, not afraid to take the hits into the T2 towers. We see ultimates being expended. The backup, Conte said, hey gentlemen, we got to back this up, listen to their fearless leader here. As we see a very strong performance, Germany taking out this T1 here in the mid opens up a lot of things here, Philly. That's a lot of pressure on the Meyer, who's already had it, on the Dodo, who's already had a rough experience here into the beginning. As now Meyer pushing up with this team, no black hole to expend. Conte gonna dance around, try to get that elevation to get some damage, but Ben gonna get the kill. Though I use the Conte needs to get his way out of here. Danger coming in as we see the long arm of the long as well. Ben taken out here by Capo. As things are getting really interesting, we lose his Dell as well. So a little 2-for-1 exchange. Philly gonna take that one. But they can't. Dodo in danger. He needs to back his way up, but it's not going to be enough. Goes down as well. Murdoch coming to break. Can Capo do the work to save his team? Is a vengeance on the board. Shutdown number 1 comes in, but can he get 2 hands? And he does. Capo laying down the statement to say, we are not out of this one. I may be the silver lining. Count Italy in, Germany. This is not yours.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. And I mean, having all those kills go the way of your carry is instrumental to getting them back into this game. The goal lead, they're still in a deficit down the kills, but I think just maybe some hubris from Germany A there, stepping up, trying to go for that forward camp, maybe pressing that tier 2 tower, and that was just to put a damper on all of their spirits. I love this crest pickup though by Ven, really taking the Howitzer out of the sky, shield slam the Wukong, right? There's so many ways for that crest to be utilized, and I think that's a wonderful an adaptation to what the comp is bringing. Make sure they do stay in those circles that you desperately need. So Deutschland, they take a punch, but they're still standing.
I'm glad you put the focal point on something as simple as people would call it a highlight here. We get some time here to slow down. Everybody, excuse me, Dodo coming himself cut out and rooted to the ground. Shin says you are not halting here, and the Howitzer has been the target of a lot of damage. Ben being chasing him down as well. Execution comes in, another Coliseum stack for the German jungler.
And that's in a timely fashion, as we mentioned, as the Fangtooth is now spawned. Without a mid laner, no make it rain on their Howitzer. Where is the damage? And now it's completely gone as Kappa to Cappy eliminated again. Lugia, can they be the legendary person they need? Absolutely not. A pile of bones. And it's an RGS ace for the Germans.
An RDS ace for the Germans, a triple kill for 2 hands, one more than the 2 hands he has, and now a Fangtooth as well, the second one in their pocket, and that out of combat movement speed. You've already tore out that mid lane, T1 tower down, T1-2 is the next target, and now the map is wide open. With some additional movement speed, there's nothing more than danger for Dodo, who's been the target of a lot of this German artillery. So gotta watch out here. You gotta do anything you can if you're on the side of Italy to protect your mid laner, because it's wreaked a lot of havoc here, and we're still seeing that 2, almost 3-level gap in the mid lane here to Philly.
I forgot that the thorns and the vines from Adele actually drag flighted characters down, especially in the ultimate, so that was kept a Dark Dodo in place. to take a bulk of the damage. And with all the lanes pushed up for Germany, these seedlings come at an opportune time to really put the pressure on these T2s. Might not be long for this world. There's some maintenance that Italy has to do, some cleanup, some sweeping across the map. But that might put them out of position for some potential ganks, as the Prime is not yet spawned. So that would be the objective should it had arrived in time. Looks like Italy will do the maintenance they need. They are still not out of this yet.
If I was Dark Dodo here, I would be I'd be afraid to walk towards them. I'd be petrified to walk towards either one of my fog walls. If I go to one side, I'm catching Vin, and it's a shield bash in the Coliseum. If I go to the other, it's an Adele, and if I try to make it rain out of there, she pulls me right back to the ground. A lot of havoc here for Dodo. As I said, there was a lot of success with the Howitzer, and maybe they didn't pick the Rena because the counter pick of how well Howitzer plays in early, but really what matters, we see the kill come out here for Meyer, who's had a very dominant performance. I know as I go track back, I don't think it would have mattered who they put into the mid lane, because the pressure coming over from the jungler support is what's really holding down the Howitzer at this point. It doesn't really per se that it's the Gideon that is the outscale.
That was just an incredible amount of burst damage from the Cosmic Wizard. I mean, we were looking at the Howitzer, he being fearful, but Capo should have been scared as well. He gets blown up immediately, and there's that T2 under scrutiny, and it will fall immediately. Is that a make it rain? Yes, more for just escape, and the damage of wall in desperation, but two hands. The Purge had enough stacks to take them down, and everyone being chokehold by the Queen's Garden, and it's a double for two hands.
And I mean, why even worry about the tier 2 tower when you just go in and get 2 kills instead, Philly? They said, we'll just leave that one there and secure one onto the score charts. Is probably going to take the shot of that young on the long on the wall, but it will be just short of taking all of that life bar. Would have loved to have secured that kill there if you're on the side of any Capo. Needs to get a little bit gold into his pocket. As we saw the tab screen come up there, about a 2k gold advantage for both the mid laner and the jungle of this German team over our fellow Italian counterparts.
We thank Bangle Mac for being our observer for this series today, our second semifinals. We take a look at the tab screen once again. I mean, yeah, that's even in the support role, there's a 2k deficit. It's just a 4k in the mid lane. This is just looking pretty rough. That's a full item advantage for most of the German squad. They feel like they can take anything on the map, and now with the big prime spawn, they'll be looking towards it. They just want to get a pick or two first. They go for a red invade to find somebody and catch them out.
And the invade is there, and the thing is that this German team feels so comfortable invading enemy territory, and they have the Italians push back. Blink going to be expended there as well. Everyone's staying back. Vin tries to get that spear near, not close enough. Needs to watch out for damage, but the pull is where we need to keep our eyes. And now this Italian team is in danger.
Uh-oh, it was stasis value, but only put him in an awkward spot. Dark Dodo skewered once again, and that was the pick they were looking for. This poor mid laner has been under the gun the entire match. It seems like the mid lane has been the focal point, even in the France-UK series. It was like, is the raid good? Is it not good? Is the Rena too powerful? Whatever. But in this one, the Howitzer just getting dog-walked by this Gideon.
And it's the level advantage right here. It's 2 to 3 levels across the board. It's not just the economy and the return on investment as they make the push in again here to say, hey, you are not safe in this jungle, pushing the Italian team back. Ryuza has to expend the shield slam as well to try to get out, but the pool might be enough to get him out of this inhibitor. Woof. Gonna barely make it out there as the Italian team pushed all the way back. I would say up against the wall, but they've already ran through that to get further back towards their homeland, afraid of what this German team is pushing out now. With a minute and 17-second delay, should be pushing on to this large Lord Prime.
What a clever disengage, re-engage. They all took the Geyser as a team. So they're like, oh, they're probably going Prime. Let's just put a ward, whatever. But they feinted that and took the Geyser and forced the Blink and the Shield Slam. That's their major engage tool for the side of Italy. Now it's not even there. So they go for the mini Prime Conte. He has to get a heroic steal. He's looking for the ring around, but they're spying the monkey. No tricks from this Jester as the Prime will be secured by 2 hands. Italy is in shambles.
And it's a ring around the pit here, but Grawley going to chase down Conte here, likely to get the pool, does not. However, damage comes out from Meyer. Capo was the first target, and I'm not sure Conte once again there, he might be the second. 2 hands, it's a kill on the Lugia as well. And the fight from the Orb Prime pit usually is expelled to say you're going to be the ones taken out, but it is a 4-man takedown, might be the RGS Aces. Conte needs to be running for his life here, Philly. And he will not make it out. That is the second one of the game here for this German team, and that will likely spell the victory here as well.
I'm sure the chat is hyped not only to see kills across the board, but their pick'ems are probably good. If you have guessed that there'd be multiple team kills throughout this tournament, you're certainly seeing 2 today. Full domination from the Deutschland squad. They're running down these inhibitors. They're buffed in purple. These should go down in an instant.
And Philly, I'm not sure I have the best memory, but if I could recall, I think I remember Tang saying that he had the Pick'em saying that Gideon might be the guy who leads this tourney in kills, and Meyer doing his part to put a little bit of investment into that words, and right there taking down that middle inhibitor. 2 inhibitors down, should rotate over, maybe get some potential for the third, but probably be a quick reset here from this German team. A lot of gold in your pocket, like you said. Won a couple team fights, got you some global gold on the Ore Prime, get you a quick reset. 2 inhibitors down as well, so the economy is booming if you're on the side of this German team. Get you a quick reset, stage up, maybe get that shaper, start priming for this, or prepping up for this primal Fangtooth.
That's exactly what they're going to do. Some ward coverage just to keep a spy on the party in the pit. They will back up in 2 hands with so many kills in that previous engagement. Probably will get their next item online, but this is going to be game for either side. If you feel like Deutschland wins it clean, which they probably will, they'll just run it all the way home and take this game 1 in the best of 3. Italy will do their best to defend it, but they might just give it up and go for a base defense. Only time will tell as they wait for the ultimates to come online. All the check marks are lit up for both sides.
And I'm going to make a bold move, a bold prediction I usually wouldn't do here, Philly. I would never tell a team to just walk down with no presence or no pick to just go ahead and rip a primal Fangtooth, but when you have a 2-level advantage, that economy is booming the way it is here for this German team, you just walk in and rip that objective, contest them. You have all those AoE circles, force them to come in, as we see Conte picked off before that objective is even secured, so it is free for this German team. And now, with 2 kills off the board of this entire roster, I'd expect this German team to just slam this one down the mid lane and secure themselves the first win in this best of 3.
Ryu's goes 6 feet under on the retreat as well.
That's going to be picked up here. What I like about this is they can 3-way kind of put any of these guys into the support role. I think they might possibly even put the Zarus inside the support role just to have that there to lock in the Drongo and lock in the Mako when need be, right? So that's also a great possibility because he's also could be able to flex that route.
Excellent. 2 comps that are, in a lot of ways, very similar, but very different from both sides. There's been a lot of adaptations. F6, based on the changes that we've seen here, how do you fare Italy's chances?
Not good.
Okay.
I'm seeing a lot of aggression coming out of Team Germany's comp right now. They're looking to run at you and they do not care. And we saw what happened last game when they're allowed to do that. So even if they get a slight advantage, we know they're going to be there looking to take those fights.
Well, F6, we'll have to find out how this goes. Will Italy be able to pull themselves back from the edge? Or will Germany continue their rampage and head on down to finals?
Italy, please, I'm begging you. Oh no. But Rit, sometimes it's about comfort, right? These are characters that you've played time and time again. That might see you through in some of these tough situations. But Germany, we showed how prolific they were in game 1. You were saying in the green room, these guys are just swagging on them in the draft, just pure strategy and tactician. I mean, they dominated that draft.
I would have continued to expand on what was said there from F6. It was brief, but it said a lot more than people think it did. Not good. That's how things look right here for Italy. Germany, very confident. They took ego matchups here almost even. They take the howitzer away. They said, hey, we'll flip you. You get Gideon this time. We played into and won it last time. Myers piloted the howitzer very well throughout the entirety of this. But then it's just the throwing of the entire beefy lineup, right? We put the Rampage onto the support. We put the Zarus in the jungle, who then just had a phenomenal performance on last matchup. And Bruxwell, the off lane, that's his lane. He owns that one. So this is just a move, a confidence, just a swagger from this Germany team to say, hey, we're here. We already hit you with the haymaker. We know you're staggered, but we see your chins exposed, and we're looking for a knockout, Philly.
I mean, Giroli and Grux is like peanut butter and jelly. We see these two paired together more often than I can count. Same with Ven and Zarus. And so when we saw the Zarus Rampage as the opening pick, we're like, oh, this is going to Ven, and the Rampage is definitely going on Shin. This is how it's going to shake out. So we had a good inclination of their draft strategies. We look through the augments, though, my friend. I'm not seeing too much out of the ordinary. Everything kind of par for the course.
Just going to keep it simple into the textbook, right? At this point, especially if you're on the side of Italy, you want to keep things as clean and pristine and to the scale as you can. Keep it exactly how you would do it in a practice. Practice exactly how you'd want to play and vice versa here. So Italy doing what they can. Back up against the wall a little bit here, which is okay though, Italy, because you know there's nothing more intimidating, nothing more to be feared than something that has absolutely nothing to lose.
True. If I know anything about Italians, we're pretty pretty chill, pretty
no,
lackadaisical,
Meyer,
and Meyer, he can't start off like this. The blink forced early. They know that this is the character they need to get down, and they focus early. That's good adjustments from Italy's to start off game 2.
Nice rotation there, as you said, right? Ryuza coming over on the Mako said, you had a strong performance into my mid laner last game, and we're going to do anything we can to relieve a little bit of that stress early into this one, try to get the flip advantage over into the hands on the mid there to Dodo. But the matchup, as I'd said, normally does favor Howitzer. The damage profile early not extremely large onto the Gideon, but right there with a little bit of support from the Mako, the numbers were more than enough. Forces it back. Not a super large loss there. Loses a couple of his early game minions, but without expending his life, the most important thing that we can highlight there is he did expend the blink, and that will be down to the greater part of after that first fame to about that 6-minute 30-second marker. So good to see a regank here. Howitzer not the most mobile champ, so if I was Conte, I'd keep my eyes on that target, be lasered in, maybe put the magnifying glass over top, let the sun burn in, try to get a kill on that Howitzer in the mid lane.
The consequence of that rotation from Ryuza, though, is that it allows Kira the space to farm and get that wave crashed under, because Capo can't step up, can't go trades, can't do anything, and so that gives free reign for Two Hands, and you can't allow this Kira to scale. On the flip side of that, yes, the blink is down for the Howitzer, but this lumbering steel, I know he got buffed, he does some extra damage to monsters in the jungle, but does he have the pace to get into the mid lane? He will show his face now just to get those river bugs, as they will contest in the river over them. We'll see if anybody will spill some blood. Conte taking the brunt of the damage. Dark Dodo will call for the retreat. However, it looks like Ven will get the river bugs. This guy, so damn sneaky.
I love the way Vin's playing here. He's playing he's just aggressive, right? Very confident. There's there's energy coming off from an aura. Some people would even say stances up into these opposing teams. These junglers stands there with no fear. He's willing to take these fights, and right there, he has no reason not to, right? Shin's rotating over on the rampage. The king of the jungle who's playing support this time, backing you up as we see the exchange. Grawly getting chased down here. Conte and Lugia going to take the chance here. Conte said, put me on the board. I'm getting the first kill, and then this game, it's Italy who strikes first.
All right, maybe he's not so lumbering. He made a speedy rotation. A call from Lugia gets him over there and takes Giroli down, who was playing with fire. Now an invade for Conte. He's spying Ven. I don't know if that's a 1v1 you want to take, though he's got the buffs at his back. This is better from Conte. Quick shield slap just to say hello, but he'll back out of this. That gives great advantage in the offlane. They need to get Lugia more involved in the amount of pressure onto Meyer. A great start for the Italians.
This energy and his confidence here from Ben again, as he is still chasing, and he's egoing at this point. We're like contesting. He wants to challenge Conte. He said, Conte, I'm right here. Fight me. It's me. It's you. It's a 1v1. Let me get you the chance to show who's the better jungler here. Even going to chase him all the way into the opposing jungle to show that he is not afraid of the steal here. Doing anything he can. He says, please rotate your team over. I see all three of you, but I'm going to claim your life, Conte. Ben now getting his support, or getting supported down here from Conte getting support here from his team. Lugia and them going to close in as well. Get the kill. The arrogance has now turned back to stab him in the back. Another kill here for this Italian team. Nice start here. They needed something to happen. 2 kills from him, not exactly what you need, but it's a step in the right direction. Can we get another kill? 2 seconds that first Fang Tooth is spawning. Your jungler's down. Respawn come up quick enough. It's still in the early game. So you can't directly rotate over that and get it. That's where you got to put the eyes out. We saw those early objectives be surrendered over. Cannot let it happen here in the game 2.
Something that's pretty impactful about that is both of the hunts were used on that 4 camp. Just one to steal away and one to secure the big one. But it was all just a bait to get Lugia over and take down Ven. Fortunately, no objectives had spawned at the board at that time. So well worked, but silly to see those two. I mean, they've gone at it in their club teams time and time again. So there's no love lost between those junglers for sure. As we shift our focus now, the seedlings have spawned onto the battlefield. No one has vied for them yet. It'll be about creating some space to get those neutral objectives in their pockets before they go to the Fang, but Conte is hunting once again, just making sure Meyer knows he's around.
One thing, although it's not major, it's worth putting a little bit of light onto here. We talked about that level gap last game, about 2 or 3 levels across the board there. Germany had the advantage. We're starting to see a very small level advantage. It was about 1 across the board. It's starting to tighten up a little bit back here. So there is some small gaps in favor of Germany as far as levels. Then once again with this aggression coming in here, the chase time. The Gideon this time he said, Conte, you aren't the target. Your mid laner is. We're going to get Dodo the same way we did last game.
They follow him, not through the torn space,
Oh, no.
but just chased with their
Oh,
abilities.
no.
But Conte pushes them away with the shield bash, and a failed seedling take will result in the death of the mid laner, and the seedling will go the way of Ven. That's not what they want. This Saurus now will be level 6 probably after that, and that is when he really wants to start to rotate.
And we had a lot of compliments last game, and a lot of light shined onto the support of the this German team to say Shin was always at the right place at the right time. And right now, Ryuza, great start here on the Mako. Some good rotations coming over, securing some plays. So we see that red buff being taken by 2 hands. This German team feeling very comfortable invading into this Italian jungle. Talk about the steal, not quite having the heavy clear and the pressure, but people wanting to utilize him more in that role. We talked about the changes in the patch and me kind of saying, hey, we want to see you guys use this guy. He has some potential there. It is there, but what we're seeing right now, Philly, it doesn't look like it's quite strong enough, right? These opposing teams are feeling very, very comfortable in the earlier parts of these matchups, engaging, rolling into this opposing steal's jungle, steal those camps, especially when you're taking those important ones. Said try to get a steal onto the blue buff. We see 2 hands grab the red buff there, and 2 hands is enough problems when he doesn't have a buff and a red buff to slow you down and add a little bit of damage onto him. Makes him even more fearsome here in this duo lane. So Kira, not the best clear into lane, but one thing she does want to do is pick and fight. And it's easier to pick and fight when you have a red buff on your carry's hands.
Saw Conte rotating into the jungle, and he was very sad to find all of his camps not available. I mean, he needs that red buff to clear more effectively. Yes, he's got the bonus damage to monsters now, but that red buff really helps accelerate it. So maybe he'll be farming kills instead. Spying up the mid lane once more, but Meyer understands the rotation and will have another scuff with a black hole rip to suck Meyer in and put him down. That's the rotation they need. Shin is just a simple bystander, a great kill onto the mid lane.
Puts him down and takes him out, throws him into the void there. Great play as we see the Gideons excelling into the Howitzer. We had talked yesterday and a little bit earlier this morning about how not a lot of success onto the Gideons in the mid lanes. We see Vin getting active here with Shin onto Dodo. Will expel his death. It will throw the Gladiator, another stack onto that passive, but now Conte the target as well. Vin said, hey, we're in your jungle and we do see your support here, but I have my support. He is the king of the jungle, so watch out if you're on the side of this Italian team. Don't want to get too aggressive as the opposing team surrounding you, and that king of the jungle on support still can lay down some damage.
Teams vying for the Fangtooth, but no shield slam, no Colosseum, no black hole, but there is a make it rain. This is time for Meyer to shine. He did so as the MVP of Game 1. Has been under the gun in Game 2, but we know he's a veteran. He knows how to bounce back from some of these early transgressions. Now the teams, how do they engage in this? Do they wait for their cooldowns to come back online? It looks like it'll be a simple handshake and back to the lanes we go.
Surprised to see this little agreement here to say, hey, we're both going to look at that, so we're going to back up, because right now it's been a lot of aggression here from the German team. Vin has pushed his way forward, and now we're seeing the flip of the script. Right now the Italian team said, hey, we know the buff's in your jungle, but we're going to invade it because we want to posture up and try to take this one. 3 members pushing all the way into this blue side jungle. Vin going to retreat back. Said we're going to proceed a little bit more cautiously as we see you guys play your stance for this objective, but with these cooldowns, as you talked about, a couple of these blinks still being expended, none of those they're available on the Gideon, so the only thing he has is a torn space to get out, so it's either get out or get in here for the mid laner of Dodo on the Italian team, but Meyer still has both his ult and his blink. We see a couple other ones expended that are important, Girali not having an ult or a blink as well, same here with Vin on the Zarus, so really got to play this one here a little more strategical and be surgical the way they're going to be doctoring their way around this objective. So both teams playing a little bit more cautiously in this matchup. There was some aggression, but overall, as far as engagements, being very strategic. No one's get picked off or know in the presence of, if you're on the side of this German team, you just want to do anything you can to wrap this one up, bow tie it, send it up to your friends to say, wait, we're in the grand finals to join that French team as well. Though they would love to meet Neff there. So 2hands going to do his part here for his team. Going to take a quick back as we say, hey, which one of these objectives is going to be the priority, right, Philly? Are we going to make a move to try to get over to that mini prime, maybe surrender that to one of these solo laners, get a really strong advantage? No, either one of them would love to have that. We saw what Germany was able to do, giving that into their off laner's hands early in the last matchup. Or will be the focus more towards that Fangtooth at this point, kind of be more of an even split, but I think there should be some priorities. We see Giroli getting active here. Will Conte be able to save Lugia in time, and what will it cost?
It'll cost Giroli his life. We had a lot of questions, and there is our answer. A great rotation from the jungler, just in time for his blue buff to arrive. Do they go for the mini prime? Is this a trade? Find out next time on Nations League. But in all seriousness, folks, knowing that the steal is on that opposite side, this does allow Ven to maybe consider this Fangtooth. He'll be scanning for wards, and he will start it. Two Hands is also here. Now, does Italy contest, or do they go for the trade? It looks like the numbers are marching for the Dusk side. Wants to cover the map in black. Conte, he's got the shield slam ready. Does he decide to apply it here in Behemoth mode? Now from Shin into steal. Conte, the hero, and the double onto two. He locks him down. The Mako strike will put him there for now, halted everybody up. Dark Dodo, it's his time to rise up and send his opposite number down. This is a huge one. Capo de Capio on the back end cannot take the trade of the carries, and that is Giroli doing his work, the double pain to cut the Chitter Cannon too.
And the double kill goes to Giroli. He's still chasing down Conte here. He is not afraid. Oh, I thought that was going to be Two Hands that secured that. A lot of damage. One kill, not two. We'll take that where he can. Giroli, though, makes the rotation over. His Lugia decides to stay into the lane. Doesn't get quite enough pressure. So when you rotate there, you do have to be cautious that if you do not secure a kill, you're not getting any kind of benefactor from it. So if you're on the side of this Italian team, you do have to be, you know, slightly upset that the rotation comes over from that solo lane. You would love to see him come and rotate over, not get any value from it. 2 kills into his pocket. You would call that worth it. As we see the Coliseum come down here, Conte and Ben getting active, but with Two Hands backing him up, will he be able to save him? The death on two. It says the Coliseum will not be enough to secure your kill. Instead, it will cost you your life. And now we're seeing some life here from this Italian team. A nice 5-6 start. Kills are not the tail of the tape, but the neutral objective also into their hands as well. Nice little steal there from Conte. I don't feel like we put enough spotlight onto that. Walks in, doesn't even have to use the shield slam to stop Vin from getting it. Just kills Vin prior to the objective being taken. And then now at that point just uses the hunt, right? It's free. Doesn't even have to 50-50 if he doesn't want to. So with Conte down, secures that as well. So Italian much stronger. The Italian team has a much stronger start here in this game too. They said, hey, we do not want to go home not giving our best shot, having taken you to 3.
He said that there's potential for this to go all the way, right? The Italians certainly not out of it. Just had to be a couple picks going their way, and that was in terms of the character selection and the eliminations they found across the map thus far. Take a look across the board. I was seeing the Ruthless Broadsword on Giroli, the Basilisk, a natural choice into the Terra, because you erode that damage, you erode the armor, you erode the damage, so it feels good when you take those 1v1 trades. The groups, or the teams grouping up here in the mid lane once again. It's a Cataclysm almost arriving, and that will mean the Shaper's on the board, but it hasn't done so yet. Looks like we'll go back to farm some more.
And I love what the Italian team's doing here, keeping a nice bit of vision here across the middle of the map, but more particularly just in the middle lane. We see a lot of them more clustered towards the inside, a little bit of vision there for this German team, but most servers being prioritized onto that solo lane. They know that the Shin's going to be rotating a lot, and Two Hands going to look to take any fights he can and be aggressive here in the solo lane, or the dual lane, keeping a lot of vision there. As the Blink's expended by both carries, Two Hands going to go in, but not going to get kill. Stun comes down. It will cost him his life. Nice play there by Ryuza, playing well, as I said, onto the Mako. Rotations have been great, but the CC chains and placements have been even better. Secures the kill on the Two Hands, and Ben now once again in danger. Black Hole coming out. Cancel, but it will still cost him life. Coliseum will not be enough. Boom. Vin goes down as well, and Italy off to a fantastic set of plays here into this team fight. Myers still laying down some damage. Will he have enough to take out Ryuza or Conte? Shin will not take that fight. We'll have to back up. Quick little reset, reposture here from this German team, who is now seeing Groli expends his dip. Blink expended as well. Smash and grab. Lugia, you're going to the grave. Enjoy that counter. 31 seconds back at the base, my friend.
Ooh, okay, the Blake chase from the offlaners, but what fantastic work for Ven to do the shield bash onto the black hole and make sure that the full duration doesn't get caught, but doesn't matter. Circles win games, and the shield slam came through to lock the jungler down. Fortunately, no Fangtooth on the board, so even with the jungler dead for a few seconds, nothing to contest. I do want to highlight the Mako, however, going for the Shadow Bloom augment there, Rit, keeping the carrier alive, right? Doing the Mako strike, keeping that healing field active for Capo to kind of stand in it, go against Two Hands. Two Hands did realize the healing was that good and died under the tower, so there's just trades all over the map. This has really opened up in game 2.
Yeah, we're seeing a different face, a different energy, a complete different vibe, if you will, from this Italian team. got staggered early into the last game, or a lot of 1v1 matchups. It also maybe got egoed and a little bit mixed up in the mental there, had some rough exchanges. But in this game, having a lot better rotations in play. We didn't see the stack of the circles on circles. We saw a German team who selected a roster that said, hey, we want to be nothing but aggressive, and that they have. They've been aggressive. The only issue is, Philly, is that it hasn't paid off. There's been no return on the dividend, right? They put the money there, they bought the stock, but the return just hasn't showed up into the account just yet.
The Italians, I know they count their stock in pasta and tomatoes, and let's see if they can cook up something nice here as Ven will dive on forward. But Conte, he's taking this 1v1 more often than he can count in this series. Well, they'll back off for now as it's time for the Fangtooth. We'll take a look at the ultimates across the board. Coliseum, Make It Rain, Purge is on. Jhin can't get the technical knockout, as we say. Rit has to keep his HP bar alive. He'll go to the jungle to recuperate, but Conte knows he has the pathing locked up and ready to go. The Behemoth, as he's pushed forward, the rocket's denied by the wall, but the Coliseum drops now to lock everybody down, but only who goes down is Ben. The barrage from the heaven, all the missiles in the world will finally net the kill. Capo can't stand tall in this fight, but it doesn't matter. Conte, the one doing the damage.
And if I was on the side of this German team, I'd be screaming, retreat. Meyer needs to not extend himself any further than necessary. And if you're on the side of this Italian team with the opposing jungler down, that would have screamed all signs to say just run towards that Fangtooth, but they do not going to take themselves a reset here. And that's a respect for this German team, right? They may have gotten the exchange there. They did get 3 kills for 1. They expended their carry, but said it was worth it, got the return on that. And that's what they need to see there. We love the respect that the Italian team has, though. They said, hey, we got a good extend there. We would love to have gotten that objective and got another Fangtooth in our pocket, but we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt and the respect to say, hey, we're not going to force this. He comes out here for Meyer as well, and maybe the damage is still going. Has to force out the stasis, but I don't think it'll be enough, Philly. The value was not returned. Once again, another investment made with no return on it, and now we're starting to see a very strong shift in both energy and confidence into this Italian team. We even might be able to force ourselves into game 3 here, Philly. And now all 5 members rotating over to this objective. The Italian team says we will take our second one of this one. Conte had to steal the first one, but it looks like he's got a lot of help from his team here in supporting cast to say we will just get this second one.
Great positioning from Lugia to deny the entry, but now Giroli is in, but also rooted to the ground by Dark Dodo. The Naruto run will bash him into the wall, but Cappy will bash his head in. Still, the Fangtooth is the primary objective. Where is Ven? I'm looking for him, but he can't find a way in. Does he go for the steal? Conte secures it with the hunt. Now the black hole open once more, and the dismantled are the Germans. They get nothing done in this one.
And Ben has been the target of a lot of these operations, and the operations have gone successful. 2 hands, the next target, but the stun does not hit. He's going to have to force people out. Can he get someone to get sent across the portal? Instead, he's going to use the Purge, but it'll be his life that is taken instead. There is no escape, and pinned up the corner with nowhere to go. 2 hands got the treatment.
Whew. Conte on the steal. I was a doubter because, he's more of the assassin, bruiser kind of guy, but he's making the steal look lethal. He must be loving these buffs from the new patch, and he's doing fantastic work. All the while, though, Meyer in the mid lane pushing the wave up, making sure there can't be any further rotations now that the mini prime is still available for a couple more seconds. They might sneak it, but probably wait for the big guy to come through. That will be the next objectives for these teams to contest, or the Shaper is also available. Rit, I mean, as all things considered, I feel like Italy has a little bit of a lead at this point.
I was glad that you emphasized on that. I would say a little, but I'd even dare to say it's fairly large at this point. It looks like it's about roughly 1,000 on a small handful of those characters. The one having a strong advantage is Giroli into that solo lane, playing well into the Terra. I always say that the numbers don't tell you everything. They're not the complete tale of the tape, but 7 to 15, it's a pretty sizable kill lead, and with 2 neutral objectives to none, it would be hard to say that the Italian team doesn't have a strong grip onto this one. As you'd mentioned, we just saw that large orb prime come up here at that 20-minute marker. As we're making our slight recap here, we've got about 2 minutes before that primal Fangtooth comes up, so as you'd mentioned, everything needs to be focused on the right side of this map, right? If you're looking at that mid lane all the way over to that off lane, you have 2 major objectives to look at there. One a little bit more minor than the other, but that Shaper or Prime, definitely where the vision or the eyes should be of both these teams, as we see both Giroli and Vin on the left side of this map. So there was going to be a team to kind of posture up and think they're going to make a move towards that, it would be this Italian team. Do have 3 of their members floating around that, but much respect as they see Shin in 2 hands as well, not going to make any try to take any rips at those objectives. So now we're at the point that we really get to enjoy the game, right? Phil, you and I get to banter a little, slow things down. No one's going to force a fight they don't have to fight. We get to paint up a picture and talk about what coulda, wouldas, or how things could improve here. So inevitably, we're not going to say Germany's out of this one, but as we said, Italy, very strong grip, very good case here to study. And with all the evidence there pointing towards a victory for them, what would the German team have to do to turn this thing around, right? They've not really lost all the fights per se. It's not been a pummeling, but they've had a few things that have not just shifted their way. So the whole gears kind of being controlled by this Italian team. And how can we slow things down if we're on the side of this German team?
It's tough, though, because the Germans need a pick. That's what their comp is designed to do. I mean, in these big team fight engagements, what is the Rampage really doing? He's waddling, he's taking some hits, he maybe gets 1 rock, but it's not a Mako strike where he's got 2 stuns, a heal, whatever, a shielding, and all that jazz. So the supports is what I'm looking at. We thank Bengal Mac, our observer, once again for highlighting the support Shin, who's getting smacked around. So this is really what I'm looking at, where Italy wants to take these fights. They have, I appreciate it, buddy. They have all of the CC in the world to contest these fights. Germany, to their credit, has been doing well to get Capo out of these fights early on, right? He's barely had any impact, but Conte's been rounding out with the damage. So they are, that's why Italy's trying to force it, but they need to do something else, whether it's push the lanes further or do something to force these fights on these pits.
And one thing I like to point out here, that in a way that maybe might be a pivotal playmake that the Italian team can do here is that this German team, even though they are down, from the moment this game has started, I said has played with the confidence, a borderline you would push the level to. It's an arrogance, right? They're wanting to force these fights. This comp wants to pick people off. They want to stay aggressive. And right there, I was surprised not to see that utilized. You see Shin in 2 hands taking the kill here on the Capo. I was going to make a reference to how there were more members of this Italian team on the right side of the map to maybe try to force a fight, an objective with Groli being gone and not having the damage there for this German team, but instead 2 hands going to deliver the business over on the Capo with Shin using his ult as well. So Behemoth was expended, but 2 hands still has his ultimate and a flash as well. Secures the kill, going to walk up comfortably into Conte and Ryuza here. Cannot get extended too much, has a small level disadvantage into Conte, but all that CC could be picked off. 2 hands going to get the respect. Shin going to come up and lay down a stun, but this is just a little bit of flexing on, right? They feel confident as we see a shift back onto this Fang Tooth going to be started right away here from this Italian team. And I said the numbers weren't everything, but if you've already got kills and you have the 2 Fang Teeth and you've got that out of combat movement speed and you score that 3rd one, I think you've really created the recipe. You've thrown in all the ingredients to the success story that is a healthy meal to get you into a game 3. So I'm not going to say you punch the meal ticket and give them the card, but Philly, it's looking very promising if you're on the side of this Italian team.
I mean, that was just Conte being held up by 2 hands. Like, they was like, put them into the sky, brother. There's no way you can move. And so they give up the Fang Tooth. But maybe that's because their real objective was the Orb Prime. They're gearing up for it, and they have the Shield Slam available should they need it. Does Germany know this? Yes, they are racing towards the Prime Pit as fast as they can. It's about to be an electric match, folks. Hold on to your chairs. They make it rain from the heavens to put in a bit of damage, but it's just tickling everybody. Ben dives in with the Colosseum, but he dives into the coffin. The lizard will not be long for this world, but Capo take it out again. The head of the snake cut off. The Prime still being focused, but maybe not so much as Lugia blinks out the other side. Oh no, indeed, Giroli with the back door gets the inhib.
And we got the shift over there. Once again, a fantastic point out there from our observers. The eye in the sky always knows where to be. And our guy, Banglemac, in the right place at the right time. We were over there distracted by the fight that was the forced out try to take it. The Orb Prime and Giroli, the most important member of this German team. The silver lining says, I'm going to stay over here. I take my fight. I force out this opposing the offlaner. He goes to make the rotation in to maybe secure that objective. But meanwhile, your inhibitor is mine. The pressure goes back here a little bit to this German team now. Though you did lose your jungler, he'll be up spawn in those next 5 seconds. You keep a pressure into that duo lane, and you can make your way over towards this prime objective to make a strong play.
It's a great trade because now you have to sack a member if you're Italy to that side. Somebody has to be here to manage this wave. Terra will be the sacrificial lamb, so to speak, but maybe feels like they've done enough now to rotate to the middle and over the Prime buff. We fight once again. As we were taking a look through all the items, right, I noticed an Envy has been picked up for the side of the Zarus. I mean, that adds an extra silence, so if you can get this Gideon vulnerable before he jumps in and burst him quick, I mean, that's a great engage tool. What I really need to see is the carry. This is the Drongo Capital Cappy putting in some work in these fights, has been targeted time and time again. The Terra to peel, because the steal is going in, so somebody's got to save their carry main. What we haven't talked about, Rit, is the scalability of Deutschland. I mean, with the Kira, the Zarus, etc., I feel like the later this goes, the more lethal they'll become, and they're showing it in some of these scuffles as we go once again over the Pride.
I love this matchup here. Now this is the chance for, we've seen the light, we've seen the hope for this German team. They're playing well, they come back a little bit online, they take an ejected, and they take a kill here. Meyer gets capo, and if you can take out that damage, that's good for you here, but will it be enough for him to get out as well, or he'll be caught in the crosshairs. Pushed up there by Conte, gonna force out the ult as well. Hopefully he has to make it rain. The flash comes out, or the blink comes out instead, excuse me. Great play there by Meyer, but I don't think it'll be enough to spell a win for them by any means. Two hands gets the kill, but Giraldi keeping